Hey, what's going on, everyone? Back with another knife overview today. We are going to be looking at the Chavez Street Scapegoat. And the details on this knife, so this is the box that it comes with, very standard for the Ultramar series. Comes with an extra pocket clip. Right now I still have the skull clip on it, but you know, that you come with a plain Jane pocket clip as well, and I think that that's really nice that they give you that option. So this is going to be the Street Scapegoat. It has black G10 handles and a belt finish blade. So I'm going to go through some of the details and make a few comparisons, and then I will give my thoughts on this knife. So the Chavez Street Scapegoat, so it features a 3.39 inch blade. It has a 7.75 inch overall length, closed. It is 4.37 inches. This version, and you know, realizing that they do make full titanium ones, they also make carbon fiber show side ones. This is going to be the G10 show side one, which you know, depending on who you ask, whatever, like a lot of the shots of this knife, the G10 is very carbon fiber looking, actually. I don't know if it's the, you know, the grip that's on here, but it does kind of resemble carbon fiber, but I love what it does to the weight of these knives. You know, I've reviewed quite a few Chavez knives, and that was always my, you know, kind of chief complaint, was just how bulky and blocky they were, and this is definitely more palatable, kind of more along the lines of what I like to carry, so I thought that that was, you know, pretty cool. This one still does have that titanium clip side, so you're getting that rigidity provided by the titanium, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. This is also going to be a Bowler M390 blade. The pivot, so this is running on bearings. The blade style is going to be this clip point. It is flat ground. For carry options, it is going to be right hand tip up only. The weight on this is a very appropriate 4.77 ounces. Even with the G10 show side, though, it still is on the heavier end as far as a knife of this size. The MSRP on this one is $320, but I did end up picking this up on the secondary market, and it's in really good shape, and I basically, like, I paid just over, you know, just a hair over $200 for this thing. So there are really great examples of this on the secondary market that you can kind of track down if this is something you're interested in. And like other street versions, so this one's going to be manufactured for Chavez by Riot. So with that, we're going to get into some of my observations, and but first we'll do a couple comparisons. So the Chavez Street Scapegoat as compared to a Benchmade Barrage. This one's kind of beat up. I've had it for years, but it looks like that. You realize the knives that I'm comparing this to are kind of obscure. I'm actually getting ready to go on a trip, and so most of my entire collection is in my gun safe right now. So that's it compared to the Benchmade. Then I also have this very obscure, and I don't know if I'm ever even going to review it, but this is the Chavez Street Scapegoat as compared to the James brand. This is going to be the Carter. Looks like that. And then finally, the knife that's actually in my pocket that I'm carrying today, a Chris Reeve Zahn. So looks like that. For me, it's a little bit on the small side. You know, 3.39 inch blade is definitely, I don't really like to kind of tip the scales any smaller than that, you know, 3.5 inch blade size, but it is, you know, substantial. There really aren't too many tasks for a folding knife that you would not be able to accomplish with that. So yeah, with those comparisons out of the way, we will jump into my observations. So I did end up doing some research on the Scapegoat prior to making this this overview, and what I was able to find out is, so this is going to be similar to the Sangre model, but with a clip point blade, and there are no finger grooves in the handle, so that's what kind of sets it apart from that model. I also want to make a plug. So my buddy Devin, so Averitt13 is his YouTube handle. He actually recently made a really useful video. He's a huge Chavez guy, but he made a video kind of explaining the sizes and the naming conventions, because it can definitely be tricky, and I do not pretend to know any of it. You could tell me you know, this is whatever Chavez, and I'll be like, huh, interesting. Like I'm not that versed in Chavez yet, but if you're interested in learning more, definitely check out his YouTube channel, as well as that video that he posted. The next observation. So this is going to be my third attempt at a Chavez, and uh, it's kind of like that fool me once type thing. But you know, the full titanium versions that I've tried, I really haven't been into. This, you know, G10 model came up. The price was really awesome, so I was like, I'll give it one more try. I know if this was missing any of the characteristics that I like about this one, I would not have done it. Like, I don't really like the Tanto, so you know, this one being a drop point, I was like, okay, I can definitely, I'm sorry, a clip point, excuse me. You know, I can definitely get behind that. And then the fact that it was G10, so I knew it would be lighter. And then it does not have the really aggressive Chavez jimping up here, because that's just one thing on all the models, or yeah, all of them, the other two that I've tried. I really did not like that. So, you know, certainly this still is a very chunky knife, but the G10 show side really makes this version feel more like nimble, quick, and wieldy, I'll say, compared to the other ones that I've tried. It, but again, it's still a heavy knife. The center of gravity is definitely still pretty far back, like it's right about there. Again, like I said, was able to get away from the Chavez jimping. For me, then, like, one of the features of this knife that sticks out and kind of sets the tone for the knife is going to be this huge choil right here. It is actually very usable, and it really does, like I said, sets the look of this blade. It kind of looks like a spade to me, or something like that. If it didn't have this really deep choil, it would change the look of this entire knife. The next observation that I had, and I've kind of always thought of this, but one of the guys that I follow, Satu Dave, you know, appreciate the shout outs that he's giving me in his videos, but he brought up in one of his last videos these Torx screws that kind of hold the pocket clip on here. So realizing, you know, we still have the skull on here, I guess some of the older Chavez, they actually used to put, you know, sneak the clip screws in from the inside, which I think that would really clean it up. Like, this is just way too busy with, you know, you got the skull, which cool, like it looks neat, but these two Torx screws on the top kind of really take away from, you know, kind of the potential, or like the signature nature of that clip. So I do think it could be a cool design, but you know, I had to think to myself too, I mean, how often are we working these clips? I feel like people aren't like, oh, you know, I'm going here this day, so let me switch out the clip real quick so it's not a skull. I think people are either like, you know, fans of the skull or fans of the plain one, and they're gonna stick with that. And these knives also, like, I know from experience, they're very easy to take apart. There isn't much going on here. You just have these, you know, screws holding the backspacer in, you have a pivot. They're really easy to take apart, and they're caged bearings. So, you know, if your pocket clip conceivably did loosen up, it would be very easy to take this thing apart, do a little maintenance, whatever, tighten these up, throw some Loctite on them. But that was one of my things that, you know, this would be, and I do think it's a, you know, a handsome looking knife, but it could definitely be better without these screws right here. That's definitely something that Satu Dave pointed out, and I just kind of wanted to echo that. The last observation is the thumb studs, and I've said this on every single Chavez that I've reviewed, again, that being two previous to this, so you know, not too many, but the thumb studs, so they are, like, you know, kind of beveled a little bit, and they're, you know, sunk in here with a Torx screw. Where that, like, the head of the Torx screw meets the thumb stud itself is very, very sharp. And that was another thing Satu Dave said when he reviewed his last Chavez, which was like a USA made one. It was a beautiful blade. These are still really, really sharp. And in this one, luckily, again, since I did get on the secondary market, it's very well broken, so I'm not, you know, tearing my fingers apart. But if you get a brand new one of these, throughout the break-in process, you will notice that this thumb stud is very sharp, and it doesn't need to be. And so it just kind of, it leaves me asking the question, you know, why didn't they, you know, chamfer, bevel it down a little bit so you just get rid of those sharp edges. So with that, that concludes my overview of the Chavez Street Scapegoat. I really do think that out of the other Chavez that I've tried, this is definitely my favorite so far, but you know, I would not characterize myself as a Chavez fanboy. I don't think I'm gonna buy another one, but just wanted to throw it out there because I had it and wanted to give my thoughts. So appreciate you all tuning in, and we'll see you next time.